Hi everyone, and welcome back to Mission 1820, this week's episode of Have You Ever Wondered? Now, this is a weekly series where we answer a common biblical question in just 5 minutes or less. So, if you're new to the channel, we welcome you and we encourage you to browse all of our other available content. So, without further ado, let's get to this week's question. Have you ever wondered, what are tribulation saints? Well, to begin, the rapture is going to take place, and during that period, all Christians are going to leave earth and then join Jesus in the sky to be taken to heaven. And when that happens, the 7-year tribulation period will begin. So, those that are left behind on earth after the rapture really have two choices. Either they can become believers in Jesus and then be saved, or they can take the mark of the beast and worship the devil. Now, the Bible tells us that a great number of people during the tribulation will place their faith in Jesus Christ and become tribulation saints. Revelation chapter 7 verse 9 says that after these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes with branches in their hands. Now, when John asked who they were, he's told in verse 14, these are the ones who come out of the great tribulation and washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So those who are left behind that do become Christians, well, they're going to face a very different kind of battle, because they're going to be persecuted even more so for being believers or saints because of the Antichrist's persecution. Revelation chapter 13 verse 7 says that it was granted to him, the Antichrist, to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. But the good news for the tribulation saints is that their eternal salvation is now secure no matter what happens to them. For the tribulation saints, they will have one of two things really happen to them. First, they'll either be killed and die a martyr for Christ and then go to heaven, or they will somehow survive the full 7-year tribulation period and then be joined by Christ when he comes with the new heaven and the new earth. Revelation chapter 21 verse 1 says, "Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away." We also read in Revelation chapter 7 that there will be multitudes of tribulation saints who are saved from every corner of the world. So the question remains, how will these saints hear about the gospel after the rapture and after all the believers in Christ are gone? Well, they're going to hear the gospel by reading the Bible for themselves. Those that are left, they'll find those Bibles and they'll begin to see what is actually happening to them and in the world. They're also going to hear the gospel from the two witnesses who were told in Revelation chapter 11 verse 3, "And I will give power to my two witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth." They're also going to perform many miracles as well, and the saints can come to believe through them. Now, the tribulation saints, they're going to serve God in unimaginable and desperate times, and many are going to die for their newfound faith in Christ, but they will overcome and they will be given entry into heaven. Revelation chapter 12 verse 11 says this about the saints, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did love their lives to the death." So for those who rejected Christ before the rapture, well, they'll be able to accept him during the Great Tribulation period. And so while God's delivering his wrath upon the unbelieving world, he will be restoring Israel to faith and assuring those tribulation saints eternal salvation with God. Now you know what the tribulation saints are. So God bless, and thanks for watching.